Hello friends, and welcome to my channel. Today I'm sharing something a little different than my usual cheese making and goats and recipes content. Today I'm going to show you how to crochet a Sunburst Granny Square. These granny squares are my favorite way to make crochet blankets, pot holders, and more. Granny squares are often the building blocks to other projects, so once you know how to make them, you can use them to create just about any project your heart desires. So to start, you're going to need an H, I, or J size crochet hook, depending on how loose you like your stitches to be and how big of a square you wish to end up with. I'm using a J hook for this project. We're going to be using some worsted weight yarn to make our granny squares. I'm using this lovely merino wool yarn from KnitPicks, and I will link it in the description for you. Alright, so the first thing we're going to do is create a magic ring. Start by chaining 4 and then slip stitch into your first chain to create a loop. Now you'll be crocheting into the loop to create the circle that will be the center of your sunburst. Start by chaining 2. This acts as your first double crochet. And then make 15 double crochet stitches into the magic circle loop. Be sure to count your stitches. You should have 15 double crochet plus the chain 2, so 16 stitches total. Connect your first and last stitches with a slip stitch and then fasten off. Now, using a different color, we're going to begin a round of puff stitches. Start by joining your new color into any of the stitches from our previous row. Chain 2 to join. Now we'll make a puff stitch in that same stitch. Yarn over, insert your hook into the stitch, yarn over, and pull up a loop. We're going to do that 3 times total, and you should have 7 loops on your hook by the time you're finished. Finally, yarn over and pull through all the loops on the hook. Then chain 1 to close the stitch. Continue the puff stitch in every stitch around the whole circle. When you get to the end of this round, you should have 16 puff stitches. Join the last puff stitch to the first with a slip stitch, and then fasten off. Now, using another color, we're going to begin a round of cluster stitches. These stitches will be worked in between the puff stitches, inside that chain space where you close the puff stitches. Chain 2 to join, then in the same stitch we'll create a cluster. A cluster stitch is essentially crocheting 4 double crochet stitches together. Yarn over, then insert your hook into the chain 1 space and pull up a loop. Yarn over and pull through 2 loops. Yarn over, insert your hook into that same chain 1 space and pull up a loop. Yarn over and pull through 2 loops. Repeat this for a total of 4 times. You will have 5 loops on your hook. Then yarn over and pull through all 5 loops on the hook. Chain 1 to close. Continue all the way around the circle, crocheting a cluster stitch in every chain space. You should have 16 clusters by the time you're finished. When you get close to the end, be sure to count those stitches and make sure you have 16. Join the last cluster stitch to the first with a slip stitch and fasten off. All right, now that we've created the sunburst round, it's time to turn it into a square. We're going to create 4 sides and 4 corners by making stitches into the chain 1 spaces of the previous round. Join your new yarn by chaining 2 in any of the chain 1 spaces. Now we'll begin the first side of our square with 3 double crochet stitches worked into the same space. Then in the next space, make 3 half double crochet stitches. In the next space, make 3 double crochet stitches. Now that we've completed one side, it's time to make a corner. In the next space, make 3 treble crochet stitches, chain 2, then make 3 more treble crochet stitches. Making all of these stitches in the same space will create a corner from which to build another side. Alright, here is our lovely finished corner, and it's time to make another side. We're going to keep up the same pattern all the way around the sunburst. 3 double crochet in one space, 3 half double crochet in another space, 3 double crochet in the next space, then a corner all in one space. A corner is 3 treble crochet, chain 2, then 3 more treble crochet. Continue this pattern until you've made a square all the way around the sunburst circle. Join the last corner to the first double crochet with a slip stitch and then fasten off. So we've officially crocheted our Sunburst Granny Square. Now we just have to weave in the ends. There are lots of different ways to finishing a crochet project, so feel free to use your favorite method for weaving in the ends. Mine is to use a tapestry needle and work the yarn down to a section with bulkier stitches. I weave the yarn tail back and forth multiple times, changing direction if possible too, just to help keep them from unraveling with use. It can be helpful to weave the needle into the yarn fibers a few times too, before burying the tail in the bulk of the stitches. The one downside to these beautiful granny squares full of lots of different colors is that there are a lot of tails to weave in. Don't let it get you down though, it'll all be worth it in the end. And that's it! A beautiful Sunburst Granny Square. I've used these Sunburst squares to make baby blankets, pot holders, and dishcloths. Currently, I'm working on a blanket using lots of autumn colors of merino wool. My plan is to make lots of these granny squares and a whole bunch of variations of color combinations. Once I've made enough to make a blanket, I'll work on weaving in all the ends, locking each square, and joining them all together either by single crocheting or using a whip stitch. I'll be sure to check back in with the finished project once I'm done. If you enjoyed this video and found it helpful, give it a thumbs up and comment on what you plan to make with your granny squares. For more tutorials on everything from goat milk cheese making to recipes and sewing, be sure to subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching!